Quarantine Books proudly presents The Gringotts Heist by Joseph Stay. I suppose it all started in the first year when Malfoy started bragging about how rich he was. I knew all along that Ron was jealous of Malfoy and his riches, so after the 5th year during vacation, we, Harry Potter, Ron Weasley, Neville Longbottom, Dean Thomas, and myself, Seamus Finnegan, decided that we wanted all that gold. We decided to wear bright clothing because Diagon Alley is very colorful, but unfortunately for us, it was under construction, and it was cloudy outside, so we were as bright as the Chudley cannons and stuck out like a muggle at a wizard's duel.
"What we do about this?"
Dean said, scratching his head as he realized that we didn't blend in as much as we thought we would.
"We could paint ourselves grey,"
said Harry, pointing to the sky.
"Then we blend in."
So that's what we did, and as we walked toward Gringotts trying to look cool, the sun came out.
"Dagnabbit,"
cursed Harry.
"It's okay,"
Ron said, pumping his fist.
"There's 70 quadrillion galleons down in that vault, and no one is going to stop us."
"Oi, what you blokes think you're doing?"
asked Mr. Ollivander, coming out of nowhere.
"This is off limits, it is."
"When we want your opinion, we'll ask for it,"
Neville said, prodding the old man in the chest.
"Oh, okay. Say, you chaps look like some kids I sold wands to a couple years ago."
"Well, most likely," I said matter-of-factly. "That's Harry Potter, see? And that's Dean Thomas, see? And that's Neville Longbottom, see? And that's Ron Weasley, see? And I happen to be Seamus Hugh Finnegan, see?"
"Finnegan, eh?"
Mr. Ollivander said.
"Ain't you that blighter they made that song about?"
"Pardon me?"
"You know,"
Mr. Ollivander said, and he cleared his throat.
"There was a young man named Seamus Finnegan. He tried to grow whiskers on his chin again."
No, I cried. "You've got it all wrong. There was an old man named Michael Finnegan. He had whiskers on his chin again."
"Excuse me,"
Ron piped up, checking his $4.99 Starfighter watch he stole from Kmart.
"but we're running a bit behind schedule. We should be doing the you-know-what."
"Ooh, I love secrets,"
said Mr. Ollivander excitedly.
"Can I be in on it too?"
Ron said, knowing that the more people, the less of the Malfoy's money he would get for himself.
"Holy abracadabra,"
said Harry, hitting himself in the forehead and pointing in a random direction.
"It's a phoenix."
"Criminally,"
shouted Mr. Ollivander, and he ran off to where Harry was pointing. As he left, we rushed towards Gringotts and stopped in front of the door.
"Gringotts hours, 11 to 3.
Ron read from a notice on the door. Then he checked his watch.
"Oh, bombs, it's 3:02. "Hey, we're thieves, remember?"
Dean said enthusiastically.
"No notice is going to stop this, Jesse James."
Then, seeing the blank look on all of our faces, he said,
"He was a train robber." "Oh,"
said everyone.
"See, the key is obviously under the doormat,"
Dean said, pulling a little key from the ground.
"That's where everyone keeps them." "What about that classic trick that Hermione used in the first book?"
Ron said.
"Hey, when I want your opinion, I'll ask for it,"
bellowed Dean.
"Sorry."
Dean put the key in the lock of the door, and a fake voice came over the loudspeakers that said,
"Read the hours, bub. We're closed."
"Oh, come on,"
Dean said.
"What harm could it do?"
"Yeah," I agreed. A gasping voice came over the speaker.
"Could it be?"
"Yes, I know,"
Harry said.
"I am Harry
Seamus Finnegan,"
the voice said, gasping.
"I bought 73 copies of your single."
Single?"
"Yes, you know. There was a young man named Seamus Finnegan."
"I'm sorry, but you must be mistaken. That was Michael Finnegan."
"Oh, what a load of tosh,"
the voice said.
"I know my folk songs."
"Well, how about letting us through?"
Ron said, eager to get his hands on the Malfoy's loot.
"Certainly,"
the voice said, and the door swung outwards, hitting Ron in the face and sending him sprawling down the steps. It was dark in the bank, and I heard Harry whimper beside me. Finally, it got too dark, and we decided to have a bit of light.
"Does anyone know the light spell?"
Harry said nervously. No one did.
"Oh, don't worry,"
Neville said, and in a flash, a little flame popped out of Neville's cigarette lighter.
"We have light."
Unfortunately, there were roughly 10,000 doors branching off from the lobby, and we were taking a rough guess on which one held the Malfoy's vault. Soon we reached a door.
"We'll just explore each door,"
Dean said nonchalantly, and he opened the door. We stood on what looked like a roller coaster track, and I got very excited.
"I love roller coasters."
Harry tried to whistle, but all that came out was several pints of saliva.
"Shucks,"
Harry said, massaging his chin.
How are we supposed to get the cart now?
Everyone tried to whistle, but all we could accomplish were very wet sneakers.
If only Griphook was here,
Harry said sadly.
Who?
Said Dean.
Griphook!
Harry bellowed. Suddenly, Griphook came out of nowhere and bowed.
You called for me, sir?
All four of us were stunned. Yes, I said. Griphook whistled and the cart zoomed right back up at the top.
Climb in. Please remain seated and keep all hands on legs inside the cart at all times.
We all smushed inside the tiny little cart and it zoomed down the track. We had gone roughly 2 miles underground when Griphook asked us what vault we wanted to raid. We couldn't remember.
Ron should know,
Neville said. So Griphook drove the cart back up to the top, and right when they reached it, Dean remembered.
Oh yeah, the Malfoys.
We drove about 4 miles when he asked us what vault number it was. We didn't know, so he drove it all the way back up and checked his records. About 3 hours later, he found it. It was vault number 1,459,462,385,475. It took us 5 hours to get there, and when we finally did, Griphook smiled nastily.
Have a good eternity,
he sneered, and putting the cart in drive, zoomed off, leaving us stranded there.
Oh well,
Harry said, shrugging his shoulders.
At least we'll die rich.
We looked at the vault.
What now?
Dean said. This is what we do, I ventured to say, drawing a diagram in the dirt. We don't have a key and we don't have brains, so we're going to need a strategy. Checking the equipment, we have with us 5 granola bars, a boombox, Ron's superb ZZ Top collection, 5 cell phones, a laptop, a pager, a Bible to share, 3 SPEW badges that Hermione generously lent us, 6 packs of a 6-pack of beer, baby wipes, and last but least a gallon of water. In order to hit the jackpot, we're going to need to execute this perfectly, preferably using everything that I've just named off. I droned on like this for hours and hours upon end. Soon the diagram in the dirt had become so complicated, Dumbledore himself couldn't have interpreted it, after days of studying. But it all made sense to me. It was all here, in the dirt. Harry, who was practicing ballerina, accidentally slid in the dirt, stopping just before my diagram. In one fell swoop, my diagram had vanished. We all looked at where the picture had once been. Hot tears filled my eyes.
Maybe we should just blow it up,
suggested Dean. So, whipping out his wand, Neville said in a thundering voice,
Hippicus, blow up Aegis!
The door swung open. We all held our breath. And sitting in the middle of the vault was a picture of a dog. We all stared at the picture, and then I slowly shuffled forward and picked it up. To their amazement, I began to cheer.
Don't you see? This is the dog they've been looking for.
Pardon us, Neville, Harry, and Dean said.
Honestly, don't you three watch TV?
I said exasperatedly.
On channel 557, England's Most Wanted Pictures, this is the #1 wanted picture. Can't you see it? The reward will be excellent. More money than you can count.
I can only count up to 43, Harry said.
Me, 87,
Dean said.
Me, 12,
Neville said.
All right,
I said. More money than I can count.
Whoa!
Shouted all 3 of my befuddled companions.
We'll all be rich beyond our wildest dreams.
I don't know, Harry said. Have you read my 5th book?
Well, maybe besides Harry.
The trouble is, Neville said,
how do we get out?
We were all silent. Neville scratched his head. Dean wore a blank look. Harry picked his nose, and I scratched my chin. Suddenly, a cart came hurtling down the track.
Oi!
Dean shouted, waving his thumb back. The cart stopped, and Ron was at the wheel.
Where's the loot?
There was no loot, I said. Ron's face fell with horror.
Yep,
Harry said.
Malfoy just talked.
It was no good. Ron began bawling. Dean patted him comfortingly on the shoulder, just as Neville, Harry, and I grabbed him by the shirt and chucked him out of the cart. Laughing hysterically, we steered the cart back up to the lobby. 5 hours later, we walked briskly out into the sunshine of Diagon Alley.
Feels good to be rich,
I said, patting the picture in my pocket. Someone tapped Harry on the shoulder, and he turned around just as Mr. Ollivander laid him out with one punch.
I'll phoenix you,
he yelled. Then he looked crazily up at me, Dean, and Neville.
Give me the picture.
Scared, I gave it to him. Laughing maniacally, he ran off to the studio of Channel 557.
What do we do now?
Dean asked.
Well, follow him,
I said, hitting my fist into my palm.
He's an old man. He can't run very fast.
Ah, but he was a very fast old man, for Mr. Ollivander, former Mr. England, ran the mile in a little over 3 minutes in the 1248 Olympics.
Hey,
I yelled.
I'm telling the story. I don't know who you are or where you came from, but zip it.
But how will you tell the rest of the story? The reader wants to know what happens, and there's no way you'll catch up with Mr. Ollivander.
Oh, dash it all.
I groaned.
Carry on.
Okay. Mr. Ollivander arrived at the studio the next day.
Here's your picture.
Mr. Ollivander gloated.
No, that's not our picture.
The manager said.
Yes, it is.
Mr. Ollivander cried.
Seamus Finnegan said so down in Gringotts.
Seamus Finnegan? The manager asked, unbelievingly. You mean the Seamus Finnegan?
Yes.
Oh, well, someone won that contest long ago. We just forgot to cancel our commercial.
Who?
An uncanny lad, the name of Lucius Malfoy.
So where's all the money?
Mr. Ollivander asked. Meanwhile, down in the vaults, Ron was digging his grave for when he died, so he could bury himself. He had dug it about 3 feet inside the empty vault when he struck something bright and shiny. And the rest is history. We hope you have enjoyed this production of The Gringotts Heist, read by the author, Joseph Stay. For more quarantine book selections, please visit our catalog at www.larrypotterfanfic.net. All rights reserved.